Hi, I'm the Rocky Mountain Sasha Jackson Crawford. I'm an Old Norse specialist teaching at the University of Colorado Boulder, previously at UC Berkeley and UCLA. I'm often asked about conversational Old Norse. People often want to talk in Old Norse either because they're doing some kind of reenactment or because of possibly religious reasons or just for fun and games. It's a little bit difficult, though, to kind of come up with appropriate equivalents to the sort of just random daily things that we say to each other today, since the written sources that we have in Old Norse are always of a somewhat formal nature. The sagas include a lot of dialogue, but it's really very casual. It's usually people talking about a case they're bringing to the Althing or something like that. And then in the stories about the gods and the Poetic Edda and the Prose Edda, they're rarely just talking about the weather, although there is some back and forth that approaches conversationality. So today, the language that is closest in structure and vocabulary to Old Norse is Icelandic, and so you can also kind of calc off of Icelandic and kind of just take the Old Norse equivalents, but keep in mind that Icelandic today is a modern language with modern expression, modern things to talk about. It's had 1,000 years to develop since the Viking Age. It's not going to be exactly the same, and especially the pronunciation of vowels has changed quite a bit since the Viking Age. But I'll give a shot to giving you some of the major conversational phrases I'm asked for, partly calcing off of Icelandic and partly taking material from the sagas and eddas where it seems appropriate. So one of the big ones is, of course, just how are you doing? Now, in the poem Völuspá, in the Poetic Edda, in which the Volva, or Cirrus, is talking about Ragnarok, she at one point asks, What's með Osum? What's með Olvum? What's with the gods? What's with the elves? And this seems to be a question about how they're doing, so perhaps that could be used in Old Norse. What's með þér? What's með þér? How are you? What's with you? Now, you might respond to that by saying, that es gott, it's good, or that es ilt, it's bad, or simply gott, ilt, good, bad. It seems like a plausible scenario to me. In modern Icelandic, how are you is usually expressed as hvað segirðu, which is what do you say. In Old Norse, that would be what segirðu. And in that case, you usually answer like I say good or I say all good. In modern Icelandic, ég segi allt gott. In Old Norse, it would be ek segi allt gott. A simple hello in modern Icelandic is often sæll to one single man, sæl to a woman. Equivalent forms in Old Norse would be sal to a man, sal to a woman with just one L, so probably the L is held a little bit less. To multiple men, you would say salir, that's masculine plural. To multiple women, salar, that's feminine plural. And to a mixed group of men and women sal, because Old Norse uses the neuter for mixed groups of masculine and feminine. Thank you is easy enough. That's thok. That's also the name that Loki takes when he's disguised as a giant woman who won't weep for Balder in the story of Balder's death. Thok. There's no real you're welcome equivalent in any Scandinavian language, but there's kind of a pre-you're welcome when you're presenting something to someone where you say, do so well. In modern Icelandic, gerðu svo vel or gjörðu svo vel. In Old Norse, you could say gerðu svo vel or gjörðu svo vel. A simple farewell is in fact extremely similar to English. Farvel, it is literally a wish that someone fare, go well. Asking where someone is from, hvaðan, that means where from. Hvaðan ertu, where are you from? Hvaðan ertu. You could respond ek em frá, and then from whatever place you're from. If the place you're from has an Old Norse name or has a modern Icelandic name that you can calc, you need to make sure that you're using the dative. So for example, ek em frá Íslandi. Íslandi is the dative of Island. The dative is required because of that preposition, frá. I am is ek em, as you might have noticed. You are is þú ert. So if you know some adjectives, you can also use various adjectives to make sure to fill in sentences there. I am happy, I am sad, I am angry, whatever. I'm going to put some of those on the screen with their masculine and feminine forms. Well, for now, I hope this has been somewhat mildly entertaining at least. And I hope that if you enjoy these videos made in beautiful places that you'll consider donating to my Patreon. Patreon has become a wonderful community for me. Great people, great questions, and great input. And it really helps my life, and it helps in making these videos available, helps me in making the time to make them. I hope you'll also consider checking out my translations of the Norse myths and sagas. And for now, from beautiful Colorado, I'm going to wish you all the best.